Hi everyone, today we're going to do something very Italian. Melanzane alla parmigiana, aubergine alla parmigiana, that is with Parmesan cheese. This is a very typical recipe from the region I come from, which is Emilia-Romagna, where Parmesan cheese, original Parmesan cheese, is produced. Parmesan cheese is named after the city of Parma, which is in the region of Emilia-Romagna, not too far from Bologna, let's say between Bologna and Milan. And it's a worldwide known and renowned cheese. So again, the recipe itself is quite simple. It just requires a little bit more time than the other ones that we have been doing so far, for reasons that I will explain in a moment. And again, it's not particularly expensive. So, of course, being aubergine alla parmigiana, we need aubergines. We need eggplants. So these eggplants are not ideal for this kind of dish. So the reason why they're not ideal is that they have too much water inside and they are not very tasty. So the first thing you want to do is to slice them quite thin, like this, and even, and put them on a rack like the one I'm going to show you. This is one of the racks from the oven. And when you have all your sliced aubergine or eggplants, you put them on the rack on top of your sink in the kitchen, like this. And you put coarse sea salt on top of them. So as you can see, I've already done that. Here there's the sea salt. And if you leave them there for about at least 1 hour, possibly more, you'll see that all the water inside will come out. And what you get is a much more tasty aubergine that is not going to release all the water as you cook it, because you don't want to have a stew. You want to have melanzane alla parmigiana. After having put the eggplants, the slices of eggplants on the rack for quite a while with the salt, you remove the salt with a piece of kitchen paper. Just remove it like this. Let me do it here. Okay, so you take it off and you don't do anything else with your aubergine, with your slice. Just put it there. Do the same with the other ones. Like this. And like this. Okay. Once you have removed the coarse sea salt, you are ready to grill your eggplants. So you take kind of like this, you put it on the fire with a little bit of olive oil to make sure that they don't get stuck. And you grill them, both sides. Now, the original recipe has the aubergine fried, not grilled. But there are problems with that, particularly if you are using this kind of aubergine or eggplant to start with. The problem is that it has too much water in it, and as I said, and even if you take it off with the procedure that I showed you with the coarse sea salt, that's not going to be enough. And once you go on frying them, they're not going to come out nice. On top of that, if you fry them, they're going to be much more greasy and therefore you know, fattening than if you grill them. So since we are stuck at home, and I don't know about you, but I don't have all this time and energy to exercise the whole time, I prefer not to fry food if at all possible. So now our pan is ready. The oil is evenly distributed. On top of it, I put the aubergine slices of eggplant on the stove, and I let them grill. Of course, I did that in advance. So what you're gonna get are aubergines, slices of aubergine or eggplant that look like that, okay? They have been grilled on both sides. And I previously cooked 2 slices from 2 aubergines, 2 eggplants. All right. So once you have grilled your aubergines, you let them cool off for a little while. You take a piece of parchment paper, you put it here, and start making the layers. Layers with what? With aubergine first. Like this. So basically with 2 aubergines, you're gonna have enough to prepare parmigiana, melanzane alla parmigiana for 4 people, which is the size of a household here. That's why I'm saying that they are quite inexpensive, actually. You know, just as a demo, I'm going to turn the aubergines on the stove. So I've done my first layer of aubergines like this. Now I'm going to put some tomato sauce that I made myself, but you can buy it as well. If you buy it, don't buy anything with flavors in it, just tomato. And you can do that perfectly fine. So with our tomato sauce, we just go like this. We put a little bit of tomato on the aubergines, on the slices, and then we put slices of mozzarella cheese. Mind you, whenever you want to cook with mozzarella, you want mozzarella which is dry. If it's watery like this one, it's good to eat fresh, but it's not good to cook because it releases water, and again, your dish is going to turn into a stew, and you don't want a stew in this case, okay? So always make sure that you're using kind of sort of dry mozzarella for cooking, not for eating fresh. For eating fresh, the other one is perfect. Okay, so here's my layer with aubergines, tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, and now I'm going to add a couple of spoonfuls of Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to finish off this first layer with some fresh basil that, of course, I washed and cut beforehand, which is going to give it a very nice flavor. Since we did what we did with the aubergines, namely we left them marinate with the coarse salt, we don't need to add any salt to our dish. Even if we have removed the salt from the aubergines, they're going to be quite salty anyway. And also the cheese that we are adding to the dish has salt in it. Again, salt is one of these things you always want to control in your diet. Okay. So I'm going to just put a little bit of ground black pepper. And again, the other thing we are going to add, but in a controlled way again, as I taught you last time or a couple of times ago, is olive oil. Olive oil, as I said, is the fattest condiment you could possibly use. So you don't want to use too much of it. It's very good. The chemical composition of it is great. So it's not bad for your health, but it's going to be bad for your weight if you use too much. So I've done my first layer. I go on with the second one, just the same kind of stuff that I did before with the aubergines or eggplants. You know, I studied in Britain, so my English is mostly British English, not American English. So for me, these are aubergines, but since I guess that my students are American, these are just okay. So I've done a second layer now. The aubergines on the stove are ready, by the way, so I'll show you what they look like. Again, this is one of them. Second layer, I'm going to put some tomato sauce on the aubergines here. The kids had a nap. I mean, Isa had a nap. Now she's here, but she's still a little bit tired. She's looking at me with that beautiful face, saying, "Mommy, I want my mommy." Mommy is going to come. Don't worry, very quickly. Then we put another layer of mozzarella cheese. And then we're going to put another spoonful or 2 spoonfuls of Parmesan cheese. Then basil, fresh basil. And pepper. Some olive oil. Check our, yeah, one, two, yeah, all ready now. So we continue with another layer. 1, 2, 3. And again, we're going to add some tomato sauce. And again, some mozzarella cheese. Okay. Some Parmesan cheese. Some basil. Some pepper. And olive oil. And then we do the last layer exactly the same way. So here we go with our last layer of eggplants or aubergines. Okay, our last layer of tomato sauce. Want to distribute it evenly on this last layer as evenly as possible. And then we're going to finish off with some mozzarella cheese. Want to be generous. Yep, it has to be fully covered. And then we are going to put a generous layer of Parmesan cheese. In the last layer, you want to add some more. That will make a nice crust. So, okay. And now the last bits of basil, fresh basil. It's very nice. The smell is fantastic. And then again, last but not least, a little bit of ground pepper and a little bit of olive oil. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so now we put everything in the oven. Sorry, this is what it looks like at the moment. We put everything in the oven, which is at 350 Fahrenheit, and we let it cook for about 15-20 minutes at least. But you have to check, it depends on the oven as well. So goodbye for now.